students long rather will they have to stay at home as ASUU extends ongoing strike again? The strike, which commenced as a warning strike on Valentine's Day, has escalated into a total strike after the union and the federal government failed to reach an agreement. Once again, the convergence of members of the Nigeria Bar Association, by the way, for its annual general conference in Lagos, to the hosting of presidential candidates of various political parties. And then the disruption of the conference on Tuesday when some lawyers broke boots and caused mayhem at the conference. You probably will say, well, those are the highlights of this year's annual Nigeria Bar conference. And then the extension of the Okada ban is another story we've got our lenses trained on. 4 local government areas have been added into that list now. The enforcement of the ban is set to begin from the 1st of next month, which is just 3 days away from now. Or even less, what am I saying? Got two more days to go. The enforcement of the ban will begin, and the Lagos State government says it's extended this in the interest of citizens and also for security reasons. These are the issues we're going to be facing up to today. So welcome to the Newsroom, the weekly show brought to you by the Nigeria Info's Newsroom, where we take a critical look at some of the big stories from the past week. And we are streaming this on Facebook and YouTube, as well as on Nigeria Info FM. You should go to the app. Now is a great place for you to go to. So, last week about 13,000 lawyers converged in Lagos, where the Nigeria Bar Association held its 67th conference. Conference had a variety of plenary sessions and activities where issues of national development were discussed. Association also hosted the presidential candidates in the 2023 general election. It was the opening plenary, by the way. Some of them who attended include Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, Kashim Shettima, the vice presidential candidate, who represented his principal, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You also had Peter Obi from the Labour Party. There was Dumebi Kachuku from the African Democratic Congress. You also had Adewale Adebayo from the Social Democratic Party. Tuesday was a total mess, the conference, when some lawyers allegedly broke boots. We saw the videos. General mayhem. It got a lot of traction on social media. The allegations that phones bags went missing at that conference also too. But then Olubide Akpata assured Nigerians after this incident that those found culpable will be punished. I don't know if we now have Monday Ubani join the conversation. Monday Ubani is the chairman of Nigeria Bar Association section on public interest and development law. Great to have you join us, Monday Ubani.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. And it's great to have you talk with us after all of the drama with the Nigeria Bar Association conference. There were several sessions, but a lot of eyes were trained, Monday Ubani, on the opening plenary, which was moderated by Olisa Agbakoba SA and had the presidential candidate over there. So first and foremost, people are a bit surprised that you had the presidential candidate at the opening plenary of the NBA, and sort of wanted to ask the question whether the NBA has become political in nature.
Who is not political in nature is Nigeria Info, not political in nature. If not, why are you discussing politics? The truth of the matter is that we have a team this year for the conference.
Right.
And that team is what we call bold transitions. We're transiting from Olumide Zapata to a new president in the person of YC Mikao. And so there were some innovative things that Olumide himself did, which is handing over to his successor. So we look at it that NBA is transiting and Nigeria is also transiting. Nigeria is transiting from another democracy to a civilian democracy to another in next year's election. And we felt that the best thing to do is to invite the major presidential aspirants to the conference. Because Nigeria has a problem. We are in a quagmire as a nation. We are retarded and there are issues. A lot of our young ones are exiting the country due to the economic situation in the country, the environment is not conducive. They're looking for greener pastures elsewhere. So why are they exiting? Why are so many young couples relocating abroad? And meanwhile, we have great men and women that can turn things around in this nation based upon things we have. So what is the issue? So we needed to hear from these major political aspirants. And so, as we're very informed professional body. The Nigerian Bar Association happens to be the largest professional pressure group in Africa. I mean, when you have over 200 lawyers as members, that's large enough.
Absolutely.
And we had over 13,000 people who registered for the conference. That is also a very large number. You will agree with me. And so having such informed audience is, look at our presidential candidate and what they want to say and what they have in stock for us and all that was a great move. And it turned out that he ended up being occupying the headlines, even up to now, even up to Monday. Now you are interviewing me on the Monday evening.
So
and
yes. So at least the goal was achieved, which was to get people talking about the
and of course everything all of them said, trended up to today, and it's very key.
Right, but
we had them right. Yes,
right.
Go ahead.
But Manubana, as a legal professional, and you look at how the whole opening plenary went.
Yes.
Some people have said that not many. In fact, I can't pinpoint which of the candidates spoke about the legal or judiciary sector in a way. Say, if I get into office, this is what I expect to see. They spent more time campaigning about things outside the legal profession.
Apart from Obi that made a slight allusion to his travel in the judiciary. Of course, he remember that 2 times he was removed out of office,
right?
And two times the court had to restore him. And he was saying like he's very, very sure that the accusation of corruption against the judiciary is not too correct because, according to him, throughout all the battles he fought through the court system, he never gave any judge shishi. He's known for not giving shishi. So he made that statement. He didn't give any money. He didn't bribe any judge for those favorable judgment he obtained. During his travel. Nobody actually did talk about the judiciary and the legal profession generally, except that in the next, on Wednesday,
right,
the section in which I am the chair, dwelled much on the travails of the judiciary, the undermining, the dangers or the consequences of undermining judiciary in democracy. That was the topic, and we had great legal minds in persons like learned Chief Femi Falana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Chief Mike Ozekome, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Dr. Egbamuno, and then one Joseph Ote, and I was the moderator. It was a very well attended session, and the resolutions were far-reaching, and also trended for some time on the media headlines. So, they never addressed that issue. As you rightly pointed out, none of them made allusion to what they would do to actually make the judicial sector to have an uplift.
Call it a missed opportunity, or you think that the NBA conference won't still shift people's minds on how they intend to vote, say, for next year's general election?
No, I regard it as a very missed opportunity. If you are coming to address lawyers, and so what to do if you are coming to address any group as a leader, as a potential leader of that nation, is to find out whether there are issues within that sector. And what you think you can do in order to either improve or add to what is already in existence. Even if the system is working perfectly, you still have to add certain things and all that. So I don't think they did their homework or their men prepare them towards addressing such a very fundamental issue. I think it's a great omission.
It's great that you mentioned the side sessions beside the plenary, because a lot of people did not realize that you had other sessions which were
many other sessions took place. Many other sessions on technology. Even there was a conversation on leadership. When all the some of the past presidents, and even the outgone president, who was then in power, had to probably start narrating what had been done before he came in and what he has achieved so far and what he's handing over to the successor. So it was a very beautiful conversation. There were other sessions. other plenaries and sessions, yes.
All right. Well, before I let you go, I'll still get your viewpoint on what you think the organizers can do in future, in making sure that we can benefit from most of the sessions and not just the opening plenary, which had all eyes.
No. You guys will always want to report politicians, and if you want, that's the problem with journalists. There are beautiful, but when you see that, there is this conversation now going on that Obasanjo has gone to Mina to go and see IBB and the other Abubakar.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, it's trending all over. So I have gone to so many persons, nobody has reported me that I've gone to see people about 2023. Or when these big political elites, even go to toilet, it becomes news. So you guys are always interested in the political elites, that's why you came and feasted. After that, we didn't see most of you coming back again to follow up, because it was a week-long activity, my brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interestingly, I had a discussion with Ayobe, senior lawyer also too, and she said she moderated a session which was on legal ethics and etiquette.
That's right.
Interestingly, you had this embarrassing show happen just that afternoon with lawyers and all of that happened.
Yes.
The NBA's president says you're going to look into this and make sure any of those found culpable are punished. But what are your thoughts, Mondubani?
Concerning what happened?
Yes, exactly.
It was just really unfortunate for, and at the root of that particular incident was just impatience. What happened was that the supplier of the bags, tried to play a smart one by giving an inferior set of bags. And when the leadership discovered that it was not the standard that was paid for, they had to suspend the distribution of the bags and then demanded that we exercise patience, since the woman has to replace them. But you see, the culture in Nigeria is that probably failed promises by leadership has actually now made us not to believe any leader. No matter the kind of promises you make, because of previous times, you have believed your leaders and probably they fail. So they were a bit impatient when the bags even arrived and they were about to distribute, and they asked them to hold on, be peaceful and be orderly. Some of them who had other motive other than something that is novel, decided to do what they did. It's rather unfortunate. And the president says that those who are involved, if they are discovered to be lawyers, they will be fished out and disciplinary measures taken against them. But I hope we'll be able to not to go beyond the level we are now, probably fish them and get them probably reprimanded and make them not to. Because we need to be patient in life, sir. That is the reality. A lot of us are highly impatient. We are very patient when we travel outside this country. We line up at the airport, at the bus stops, but the moment we fly into Nigeria, I think there is something in the air that enters into, immediately we land in Nigeria and probably breathe the air of Nigeria. We lose all sense of decency, we lose all sense of patience. You see our big man in the whole world, and that is a big man, a senator in Heathrow Airport. So he lined up, or in Washington, all the airports in the world, they will line up immediately. They enter Nigeria. They want to tell everyone that who they are, how big they are, who they are in the society. They want to breach all protocols. So that impatience is there. I don't know how we need to. I don't know what to make us to go back and in life and reorientate our value system. We've lost it. We are so impatient. And we don't believe any person anymore. It's a fundamental thing we need to address. So I think it's a root of the root as I said earlier is impatience, and before you know it. But I think we have learned our lesson. If we are going to do anything before 2 or 3 weeks before the start of the conference, all those materials should be on ground and all that. Right. So that is what I think the lesson that I have taken out of that. So we are very sorry for what happened, but the president has made promise that all those who came and all those who did not even come but they paid, they will get the bags. I believe that promise will be kept by His grace.
All right. My friend Adenisi Patrick had said in explanation of this Nigerian chaotic system, he said there's something in the water we're drinking, most likely.
It's water. I'm thinking it's the air. You see, the moment they're on the air, sir, and they are landing in Nigeria, of course, from the air, that Nigeria is chaotic. From the air, when you look around, from the up there, looking on you see that the houses are not even well arranged. Where you travel now, when you reach all these American airport, on air and look at the houses, you see how they are arranged. Absolutely. The same thing when you are going to UK, you see how the houses are arranged. You are passing through France, But when you are coming to Lagos or even Abuja, you see how the houses are scattered all over. It shows confusion, Berekete, so it shows how disorganized we are. That even on the air, we will observe that we are a totally confused nation in everything, honestly. So I think it's from the air we usually catch that spirit of impatience and disorderliness,
Oh dear, talk about orderly chaos. In case you just joined us on 99.3 Nigeria Info in the newsroom, you've missed quite a lot already. We have the chairman of the Nigeria Bar Association section on public interest and development law, Monday Ubani, and he's been giving us some post-mortem of the Nigeria Bar Association conference, which happened last week. But before we let you go, Monday Ubani, talking about missed opportunities, but I think we still got the opportunity to hear the candidates of some of the parties.
That's correct. That's correct.
What would you say your impression of what they talked about in the other areas? They all had talked about different things from structuring to state police. But what's just your general impression about them in summary?
Well, I think the first person to speak was Kashima, the presidential candidate,
Shetima, the vice president.
Shetima, rather, the vice president candidate of APC. Right. We were not too happy that the main man that was invited did not come. It should be him. We look up to. He's the one that. So he made promises of how Ashwaju himself, who has turned around Lagos, according to him, will also turn around Nigeria because he has done so much, for his Lagos State in which we're in, has done so much in terms of development and bringing fresh ideas in governance and all that. And that is the kind of idea he's going to bring to bear at the federal level. He received ovation. Then Atiku was very calculated too in making his promises, especially on the issue of restructuring. So that most of the problem we're having is that Nigeria is not properly structured, So he feels that when powers are dissipated to the federating unit, that we may have a country that is functional and all that. So he said a few things that made a lot of sense. Then Obi was talking about the economic situation in the country, where he feels that since we are not a productive nation, we consume virtually everything. There is no way the naira can stabilize. There is no way we can have a stable naira if we are not producing and exporting. And he feels that when it comes in all these major infrastructures in the country that requires intervention will be taken care of, the seaport, the airport, the roads, the issue of light and all that, which is taking time to study what other nations are doing and are getting it right and all that. So they said few things, they will do when they come into power. But you see, it is for us to examine these things individually and look at the person that can really have solution to this problem. Nigeria's problems are too many. And it stems from deficit of leadership. The leaders don't even know what they want to do when they get into power. They don't even have a clear understanding of what the problems are. Of course, if you don't know what the problems are, you cannot provide any sufficient solution to it. So most of them don't even know what the problems are and how to go about giving solution to those problems. So they just make general promises. I will give you road, I will give you water and all that. We are no longer interested in all that. The Nigerian today is now going to interrogate leadership. We want to hear how they go about giving solution to those myriads of problems that is besetting this country. We're not going to be carried away anymore. We've been carried away for too long, and it's not paying on us. And we are seeing the kind of suffering that is going on in the land because of the kind of people we entrust leadership into, and they have no idea of what governance is all about. So this time around, the eyes of the young ones and everyone are open as to what we do in 2023. And I believe that if they allow the electoral process to operate fairly at what happened in Kenya, it will happen in Nigeria. And now we have we have deployed technology in our electoral process. I feel we should be able to allow the mandate of the people to determine who becomes our leader. So I pray that it does happen in 2023.
Right. We're going to have to leave it at that. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure speaking with Monday Ubani, the chairman of Nigeria Bar Association section on public interest and development law. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful. Please, my regards to our friend in the house.
Right.
I knew him a long time ago, over 10 or 20 years. Over 15 years now.
Oh, dear.
Yes, we've been knowing ourselves here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And great. So we're going to have continued conversation. We're moving from the NBA conference now. We're going to be going now to something that affects every single one of us because we are the cusp of the extension of a ban on Okada in 4 more local governments. So they'll be joining the 6 local government areas and some other LCDAs that were included. And this, you remember, happened shortly after a sound engineer was linked to death in the Lekki axis of the state by suspected Okada riders. So people sort of said, we've had enough, and so we want to move on. But then earlier this month, the governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, announced the extension of the ban to 4 local government areas. There, his commissioner for transport in this event, Dr. Frederick Oladeyinde, had said the decision is taken in the best interest of residents and for security reasons. And so, from the 1st of September, which is on Thursday, the ban will be extended to the following local government areas: Koshofe, Oshodi, Solo, Shomolu, and Mushin local government areas. It's a pleasure to have the Honorable Commissioner for Information in Lagos State, Gbenga Omotosho, join the conversation. Great to have you join us, Honorable Commissioner.
Thank you so much.
Excellent, Mr. Motosho, and we're glad to have you join us. And on the eve of such an important conversation, which is with the extension of the ban. So first and foremost, help us understand what is going to happen, because people are also concerned that if you get out these Okada riders from these new local governments in addition, what happens to them? Are they going to be taken care of by the government? Because the general thinking is that they're out of jobs automatically.
Thank you so much. That has always been the question since this matter began. But you will recall that the first time Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, made a pronouncement on the ban on Okada in 6 local government areas on June 1st. People were skeptical, some people were skeptical, and today it's not so, because there is evidence, the facts are there, the figures are there, that accident rates has gone down after the ban. And besides that, crime rate has also gone down. Crime rates, I mean by crime being committed through the use of Okada, this has gone down. But apart from that, the question that people always ask, not many people, we had a stakeholders meeting on August 15. Okada riders, everybody was invited to the meeting, the clergy, religious leaders, union leaders, everybody came to the meeting, journalists, civil society organizations. And the preponderance of opinion at that meeting was that Okada should be banned all over Lagos. And then we went back to Mr. Governor with whose permission we had that meeting and gave a report. And everything was scrutinized. And we came to a conclusion that what Mr. Governor promised on June 1st, that there will be a first ban on Okada, should be the way to go. And then we added 4 local governments. And people are asking that question, what are these guys going to be doing? There is a simple Yoruba proverb that explains all of that. Now, before the arrival of the corn, the chicken was feeding on something. Lagos is a very big state with so many opportunities. People are coming there to ride Okada without considering the security risks that Okada poses, without considering all of the bad things that Okada has been used to do in some other states, without giving to the security agencies a kind of concession that they know why we shouldn't have Okada flying all over the place. There are so many opportunities in Lagos. We have about 19 vocational centers. Anybody who wants to learn a trade can go and learn a trade in any of these centers. And when you finish learning a trade, you are not even going to be left to your own devices. The government will ask you to have some equipment for you to go and start setting up and go on your own. Apart from that, if you are a graduate, you have a business idea, you can go to Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, where you will have money given to you as a grant, not just as a loan, for you to be able to set up. And apart from that, there are other opportunities. For example, Ministry of Wealth Creation, they have a program called internship program. People are just coming out of school who are going to be looking for jobs. They are connected with companies who will train them and make them, employable.
All right, Mr. Motosho.
And apart from that,
excellent. I think that's enough enough options already on the ground that we can peruse in the future, we'd love to get back to you to find out how many of those Okada riders have made use of this opportunity, just for the sake of those who would want to know what happened to them in the aftermath. In case you just joined us, 99.3 Nigeria Info, we have Gbenga Omotosho, the Honorable Commissioner for Information in Lagos State, and we are talking about on the eve of the ban on Okada and an additional extension, rather, in some more local government areas. You know, there's something you say which is true, you know, of the Yoruba proverb which you quoted, Mr. Omotosho. And the reason why we've had Okada in Lagos, I'm sure you would know, traces back to the huge gulf and the gap which existed at the time when the public transport system failed us completely in the late 80s and 90s. So they provided a means for people to move around, especially in the small neighborhoods and the access roads. People are asking the question also too, whether there's an alternative means for areas which have been inaccessible, even with the last mile buses the Okada provided. Has the state provided alternative means for people in those affected local government areas and LCDAs?
Very simple. Lagos is the smallest state in Nigeria, the tiniest state in Nigeria, even though it has the highest concentration of people in Nigeria. So when I was growing up in Lagos, Lagos has not increased in size as we are now. Lagos is still the smallest state in Nigeria. What people want is they want Okada to take them all the way from the bus stop down to their doorstep, and if possible, to take them to the restroom. And I think that is not right. The first mile and last mile buses where they are operating, they are really filling the gap, and people are not complaining in all those areas. So people who are talking about people who are living in some places where you can't find such buses, what will they do? That is why we have the first ban on Okada. So that if we have a blanket ban all over the state, people will have genuine complaints. But now it's being faced. So that where these first mile and last mile buses are not being seen now. By the time we say, okay, we have concluded to have a total ban on Okada, the buses can be seen. So it's not right for people to just say that there are some places that those buses are not found, and what will those people do? So Lagos is still the smallest state. It has not increased in land size. It's just that people have refused to walk. And I don't see anywhere in the world where walking has become something so terrible that people don't want to undertake at all. So I feel that, there's no way anywhere in the world where you find buses taking you to your doorstep.
Right. So in case you just joined us, you can send us messages on WhatsApp. The number is 0809 597 5805. Just messages, 0809 597 5805. And interestingly, I listen in also on the stakeholders meeting, major concerns, public safety for people, and those data in terms of how many people have no longer face security risk because of the Okada. But the inaccessible problem remains for areas, for example, Mr. Motosho in Apapa, where I know that people cannot move in areas. There's also the muggings that happen at nighttime in many areas in Lagos. People cannot venture to walk. There are people who also have vulnerabilities. There are people with disability. They're not all being taken into consideration. There are areas in Lagos where there is no public street lighting for people to even walk. So help us understand how this has been thought through in a way to take everyone, at least, maybe not everyone, but at least the majority of the people who are going to be affected when they don't have any access to move from bus stop, like you say, to destination.
These things that you have spoken of were put on the table before this decision was taken. When people were at the stakeholders meeting, these were part of the things that were considered. And after the stakeholders meeting, the committee set up by Mr. Governor also looked at all of these things that you spoke of. But the big picture is that you have to be alive for you to be able to walk or for you to be able to climb Okada. You have to be secure for you to be able to talk about moving from one place to another, and now you are going to do it. The security problem that Okada poses, everybody will agree with me that it is very bigger than moving from one place to another. It is just reducing the problem to a pedestrian level by saying that how will somebody move from one place to another? It is bigger than that. I mean, what the security agencies are saying and what they are saying. Before the stakeholders meeting, There was this story that broke in the media that civil defense released a report that some states were going to be attacked, and Lagos was named among them. People began to panic. The government had to come out to say that people should not panic. What we need to do is to have confidence in our government, in the administration of Mr. Bayede Sanwo-Olu, to keep Lagos secure, because the government knows its responsibility. And part of keeping Lagos secure is to stop Okada from flying all over the place. Because all of the places where Okada has been banned, they have been indicted in all the security problems around that place. Okada is the only means of getting away when you commit a crime. And before the police get there, the criminal is gone, the suspect is gone. So I feel that if you think about people not being able to walk from one place to another, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. Right. Incidentally, if you say government should just allow Okada to be coming in the way they used to come, and then to go to all of to do this kind of stories, to go and ask people in areas where Okada has been banned, right. So, why what they are feeling now, so what their attitude is now.
Honorable Commissioner, not to denigrate what the state government is doing, but it's the point they're making here that so that the state government is not accused of being knee-jerk in the way it's approaching these issues, because you look at this. They say that if you think very well about how most cities are set up, you're right, the state may not have increased in size, but the numbers of people have far eclipsed the existing infrastructure. So even if you have walkways, which we don't even have in Lagos because land space is taken over by houses and by shops, you don't even have pedestrian bridges, which you have, for example, in cities like Beijing. I mean, you have pedestrian bridges which run like conveyor belts that can move it from bus stop, or you ride a bicycle to where you're going to be, where you want to get to. You don't have all of that in place. Yet you have a population size that is equal to what you probably would have in Beijing or Shanghai or any of the mega cities. So forward thinking in the big picture, the ban on Okada, people are arguing, still doesn't address the transportation problems we are facing, especially within the neighborhood.
Like I have said, one has to be alive before thinking about even any mode of transportation. But if you are talking about the big picture, that is why we are bringing the train. And that is why we are saying, by the grace of God, by the end of this year, the last quarter of this year that we are entering now, that the train, the blue line and the red line will be ready. And that by the first quarter of next year, they will begin commercial operations. The waterways are there. All of the people who have used the waterways recently, they've been praising the government for opening up the waterways. We used to have like 7 or 8 ferries by the time Mr. Bayede Sanwo-Olu came in. And now today we have 21 ferries operating at more routes than they used to operate. So, and then we have injected, like I said, the last mile and first mile buses. And then we have all these high capacity buses too. So anybody who is saying that Okada is the in thing, Okada is the only thing that he or she can use because he or she wants to get to somewhere as fast as possible, I think the person is not looking at the larger picture. The larger picture is that Okada constitutes a very big security risk. And no government will wait for this kind of risk that we are talking about to come upon us, and then the government will start getting the blame again. No government wants to carry the can in this kind of situation. Right. That is why we are saying that for us to nip this kind of thing in the bud, Okada has to go. But even then, that we have to do it methodically. We are not saying in one day, all of the Okadas in Lagos must leave. We have about 20 local governments in Lagos, and Okada has just been banned in about 10. They still have 10 to operate. And like I said, all the people in Surulere, in Lagos Island, Lagos mainland, where Okada has been banned before, they are happy. At the stakeholders meeting, people are saying, what is the offense that we have committed? Why are they asking us to continue to live with Okada even when they have been banned in other areas? And these are people who don't own cars. Right. These are people who depend on public transportation systems for them to be able to move from one place to another. So if people are ready to use the waterways, if people are ready to be patient for the last mile and first mile buses, if people are ready to be patient to go and board BRT, the capacity buses, I do not see why anybody should be thinking about that as the only alternative. Population has increased. Population continue to go up.
Right.
And we is population. But don't forget, we are talking about security and,
All right.
and safety of lives in different times.
Right, and I'm sure I look forward to the campaigns when they begin, so we can ask some real big questions in terms of how we hope designs for transportation will work, not just to accommodate security, but also to take in all the other aspects of what exactly makes up transportation planning. Someone's asking a question, Mr. Motoshaw, whether private scooter bikes rather, are allowed to move. Are they also restricted?
The private scooters, I mean, especially those ones you are doing these things, they are to move. They are that box behind them, and then the machines will be 200 cc.
Okay. Oh dear. We have connection difficulties now, unfortunately. But we're going to have to end the conversation with Benga Motoshaw, the Honorable Commissioner for Information in Lagos State. It's been great speaking with you. To the scooter question, you would have to get the particular specifications, what he says, 200 cc, before you are allowed to go in there. But once again, we thank you very much, sir, for coming to the newsroom.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. And we look forward to getting you in, because the number of questions people have for you, I mean, there's so many, and I think we'll need more time to address many of these issues, because it's a role.
On Okada?
Not on Okada, generally on transportation and transportation policy.
But I was going to say that I think we should outgrow this Okada tyranny.
All right. We're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, so that's it on the newsroom today. It's been great discussions we've had. Just the ASUU story, which we haven't dealt with, but it's something that it's also a rolling conversation. You know that they've extended. Some state universities have resumed, but the federal universities have continued their strike action, and they had a meeting this morning, and they say that it is going to continue indefinitely. This whole show has been put together by the Nigeria Info Newsroom. Emmanuel Luka is here smiling from ear to ear. I wonder if he's hit the jackpot, like the members of the newsroom. They can let me into a bit of the action. And I hope that also, too, that the conversation will continue with many of you all. I'm going to speak with the rest of the crew so we can have some more conversation around this transportation policy, especially around the security areas, and maybe we can get some more light into areas Mr. Motoshaw has talked about. Don't forget that you can also send us stories if you have one for the newsroom to cover. It's 01465 7175. Again, 01465 7175. Just call us and tell us what the story is, and we'll be there for you. We have the news update at the top of the hour. After the news update, we have Courtside to be in to tell us about the game of basketball. I'm Aghogho Oboh. See you.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
Hello? James, look, I'm on the expressway. My car just broke down. I don't even know what to do.